Hello, everybody. It's Caroline Trudeau on special assignment with Women Automotive Network. Thanks for tuning in to another episode in our leadership series. I'm thrilled today to be joined by Mercedes-Benz Canada CEO, Eva Wiese. My home and native land of Canada is in the house, and your home and native land of Germany is in the house. I am here in Munich, and it's a pleasure to connect with you across the Atlantic. Thank you.
The pleasure is on my side. Thank you.
Thank you. How are you? Where are you connecting with us from specifically today?
Well, it's 8:45 in Canada. I'm not so much of an early bird, so that's sometimes a challenge for me. I'm in my home office today, and I'm looking forward to a fruitful conversation.
Very cool. Thank you for getting up early, getting ready, and joining us. So I'm inspired by my last interview with Phaedra of Mobilize and her presentation at the Women Automotive meetup that we had on International Women's Day. She talked a little bit about the total essence of who we are as human beings, as women. And I wanted to try on for size a little different way to introduce you to our audience. And thanks for taking me up on it. So the question is, what is the essence of Eva? What makes you the woman that you are in terms of an introduction?
Well, that's a very good question. I would describe myself as a purpose-driven leader with a passion for transformation. I love transformation with all it brings along, with the challenges and the hurdles you meet, the successes, and also the failures. I think facing transformation is what makes us grow, and what shapes the world. So this is where my passion is.
That's very nice. Are there any specific transformations that are going on in your life that you're specifically passionate about working on these days? Work, life?
Well, the pandemic for sure has been very important and influenced many aspects of our lives, being it professional, but also personal. I think all of us, we experienced it, and it was interesting to see such a huge trend that affected everybody around us. So being it family or colleagues or around the globe. And of course, we have many big and interesting trends right now in the automotive industry. First to mention electrification, that changed significantly the way we're working and our product offerings. So I'm excited about that. I think it's a great time to work in the automotive industry.
It is. It definitely is. It seems like the whole industry is on fire for so much change and so much transformation. No wonder you're so excited. What's your top trend? What are you most interested in when you follow all of the action and the activities that are going on in the industry? What's your top topic?
I would say in terms of industry trend, it's for sure electrification, because I'm so excited about the technology of our cars and what comes along with it. But on the other hand, what I've found out is my real passion coming to the beginning is how to engage your employees in transformation, how to bring them along to make them also passionate about transformation, how to talk with them about their concerns and bring them all along a line for one common path. And this is actually what I'm most passionate about. So how to create an environment in your company where everybody feels safe and has the power to be creative. Everybody has the idea that they can participate and there are no stupid ideas, and we simply have to try it out. And this is what I'm most passionate about. Yeah.
That's awesome. I've heard you already say twice, try it out and experiment, and not be afraid of failure. That's something that's really important in the concept of transformation, I imagine. How do you balance that desire for experimentation with like the seriousness of the topics that we have? How do you place the right bets when it comes to these types of transformation initiatives?
Well, what I found out is that, of course, trying out new paths means also to let some of your usual strengths go. I totally understand that some people think this is kind of a weakness because they need to leave the area where they're most competent about, and they have a certain setup. They feel safe and secure in what they know and their competences, and then all of a sudden they need to move in a different direction. And I think it is very important to bring everybody along, to tell everybody about the necessity for transformation, because society is changing, customer expectations are changing, regulations are changing, so there is no alternative to transformation. And once you convinced your people and you have had the first successes, that's amazing. That's really great to see how the passion starts to grow, and also people are getting more brave, and this is really something encouraging, and this is what gives me a lot of purpose in my work.
No, it's so great. I love the juxtaposition that you make between experimentation and, you know, not being afraid to fail and going in areas where you may not have as much expertise or capability, with the celebration of the success. You know, the antithesis to failure is success, and it only sometimes takes one to demonstrate the power of transformation. I love this philosophy. Thank you for sharing.
What I also try to say is it's pretty natural that we as human beings, we learn more from failure than we learn from successes. At least it's true for me, and whenever I talk to colleagues or employees, they said it's more the same. So you have a success and you say, oh great, that's well done, check, next one. But when you fail, then you reflect much more, and this is what makes you grow, and this is what makes you better, and this is why failure is such an important part of growing, of your development.
Yes, and it applies to individuals and companies.
It does, definitely. Yeah. And
well,
just
there was one
pandemic. I mean, I think we had 4 dates for coming back to the office, and every time then the circumstances changed, and regulation and public health guideline changed, and then we had to revise and go back to zero and start again. Some people might consider this as a failure. I think it's more a sign of flexibility.
Yes, it's resilience.
Yes,
it's boldness. Absolutely. I love it. There is one place where I think we cannot fail, and this is in the topic of sustainability. It's one, of course, that is related to electrification, all in the name of reducing our carbon emissions in the industry specifically. But I think in a company, and as you know, a senior leader and the helm, if you will, I think it's important to consider sustainability in a broader context. So with that in mind, what does sustainability mean to you personally? And how does it show up in your role at Mercedes-Benz Canada?
Sustainability for me is very important, and I try to have a strong focus on my own sustainable footprint, on my personal carbon footprint in every decision I take, also of course in my private life. And this is not related only to the car I'm driving. This is related to the food I'm buying. This is related to the travels I plan. So I think there are so many decisions where you can positively or negatively influence your own personal sustainability. So for me, it plays an important role. And I'm so happy to see that the same is true for the company I work for. I was always proud to work for the inventor of the automobile, but in our company, we always say that we cannot rely on that. We need to move on, and we feel a certain responsibility as the inventor of the automobile for its further development. And this is why we take sustainability so seriously. And this is why sustainability for Mercedes-Benz does not end with electric driving. It's much more than that. It's sustainable production, it's sustainable sales processes, it's sustainable retail, sustainable materials, and it also integrates our entire supply chain. And I think this is what sustainability is about consequence. It has to be consistent and consequent what you're doing.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love sustainability starts with me, with the choices that we make, with the way that we work, with the way that we interact with each other to make it almost intimate to the way that we live, in order to have the impact that we can bring as each of the individual contributors to the companies that we work with and for. So important.
Yeah, and I think there are a few similarities between diversity and sustainability, because for a very long time, diversity was only reduced to the question of gender. And I'm so happy that this has changed in the meantime. But looking at sustainability, I see somehow a similar trend, because for a long time, it felt for me that sustainability was mainly reduced to the automobile, although there are so many areas that can influence sustainability around the globe. So, and I'm happy to see that finally it's been seen in a broader picture, which does not only contain the automotive, but also, all decisions you can take in your personal life. And I think sustainability is for all of us. It's everybody has a responsibility for sustainability.
Absolutely. I think top down, we have a clear message from many, many, many leaders, and the difference that we can make collectively from a bottoms up approach, starting with ourselves, is really where the magnification of the impact can be. Both, I think, applies for sustainability and diversity for sure.
Yeah.
So speaking of diversity, let's talk about employees a little bit. We're seeing a huge global shift in a migration, a great resignation and migration of talent globally. How are you preparing? How are you responding? What are you doing to keep your employees and recruit the ones that you need to grow?
That's indeed very important. So what we try to do is create a working environment that draws young talents, but not only young talents, all kinds of talents to our company. So what I want to do is I want to make Mercedes-Benz Canada such a great place to work that everybody knows about it. And this, for us, in that relation, our purpose-driven work model plays an important role, because we decided that after the pandemic, we don't want to go back to normal. Because I think all of us, we saw that not everything was bad that came with the pandemic. Like looking back when we sometimes flew around the globe for one day of meetings and then flying back the next day. I don't want to go back to that. And therefore we said that let's have a purpose-driven work model. Let's give our employees the possibility to decide whether they want to work in the office or they want to work at home, whatever suits them. Of course, we need to make sure that we have a certain amount of presence in the office, because otherwise we risk to lose connection too much. But we decided for Mercedes-Benz Canada, we will not go back to 5 days per week in the office.
Bravo! On behalf of my fellow Canadians, bravo!
Thank you. Thank you.
It's very modern, and there are a lot of tools now that are enabling us, like we are doing here today, to collaborate. And there's certainly nothing that replaces a good in real life connection when it's necessary. But yeah, to give people the flexibility and have a digital workplace. Are those all initiatives that are part of your initiatives?
Yes, absolutely. So we said we want to create beneficial moments in the office where it's worth to come to the office, because obviously there are some moments where it's better to talk in person, like if you have a team workshop, a management meeting, and also it's just a celebration of a milestone that we recently achieved. But if we do just regular business, most of it can be done remotely. We've seen that. We've done so many more things remotely than we ever thought that would be possible. So we said let's have a balance of that. So we say if it's about we talk about collaboration and camaraderie. This is the reason why you should come into the office, and the rest can be done remotely, and this saves time for our employees. This, I mean, at the end, it's also more sustainable, not driving around the city. It's you have less stress, because I can tell you certainly know that driving around Toronto at rush hour, yeah, it's not always a pleasure. No. So both sides have benefits, and we say whoever wants to come in the office for whatever reason, they certainly can come into the office, but you're not forced to go there 5 days per week anymore.
That's really great. Are you hiring? Where can our audience find the kind of roles that you are looking to fill there?
Actually, we are hiring mainly in the area of digitization right now. So I can encourage everybody to look at our website at Mercedes-Benz Canada. This is where you find the postings. Every now and then something pops up. Yeah, definitely.
Good. So the audience knows, ladies, gentlemen, others, Mercedes-Benz Canada is hiring in the digital space. We have a lot of those in the network. Let's see if we can help you get a few good individuals. Speaking of good individuals, you know, this is the Women Automotive Network, but I always like to talk about men as well, because we need each other and others to be able to create and execute on the change that we need. I'm really interested in these discussions on finding out about a moment where you felt as a woman in an industry that is, you know, notoriously known, where you felt like an equal. What does it feel like to be like an equal to the men in this industry?
I can tell you, I definitely more moments where I felt like an equal than the opposite. Mercedes has taken diversity serious for a very long time. So this is also one of the reasons why I'm so proud to work for that company. It's been a topic, and it's been a priority for our company for much more than a decade, for sure. The moments I felt the best was when I felt just treated like a human being, just treated like a well appreciated employee, nothing more than that. I don't want to. The happiest moments for me is when I feel like my I don't know, my gender doesn't play any role. This is what I like the most, and I was always lucky to have bosses who treated me like that. So it was really great.
That's awesome. Just show up as who you are and your whole self.
I don't want any special treatment. I just want to be taken serious, and yeah, that's
it sounds like
nothing more.
Sounds like you've got a great place where you can do that and are leading by example. So thank you for that. And then to the women, you know, in our preparation, you know, sometimes in these discussions, we talk about, you know, the women that have inspired you, the women that have brought you different ideas. But in our preparation, we got into a little bit more of a specific topic that I'm personally very interested in. So here we go. What are some of the sort of the shifts in mindsets and some of the changes that you're observing in the context of women in the workplace and the diversity amongst the gender?
Yeah, one topic I've been reflecting more in the last time was the tolerance to certain, let's say, life concepts, because I think we made such great progress when it comes to diversity. So it's absolutely accepted to have whatever sexual orientation, but sometimes it feels, for me at least, that there is less acceptance when it comes to different life models. So it feels like you have to fulfill a certain expectation. Sorry, a message popped up here. You have to fulfill certain expectations of the society, which means you need to be married and you have to have two children. And if this is not the case, people wonder what is wrong with you. And that bothers me a lot. And I personally had an experience when I had an introduction meeting with a woman in another industry, but we work closely together. And during the first 5 minutes of the introduction meeting, I asked her right away, so how many children do you have? And she said, there was a silent moment, and then she said none. And this was the moment when I realized how this was not sensitive. This is not okay. I should not have asked the question because whatever reason she might have to not have children, it's none of my business. And I shouldn't define her by her status or her children. And whenever I talk to women who don't have children, they also often told me like they feel like they're not allowed in a super exclusive, not allowed a membership in a super exclusive club. And I also wonder, why is it totally accepted nowadays, which is great, don't get me wrong, but it's totally accepted to say, I need to leave early my job today because my son has a football game, but it's not accepted to say, I need to leave early because my best friend, it's my best friend's birthday, sorry. So I think especially we as women in a women automotive network, we have to stick together and we have to make each other grow and make each other strong and not the opposite. So what I wanted to ask for is whether we as women can be more tolerant and more sensitive when it comes to that, because everybody has their reasons, and it's very hard if you face that expectations and you feel like you need to defend yourself for decisions you were maybe not even able to take yourself. And this is something that moves me.
And you move me. I mean, I have goosebumps all over my body listening to you, just because the message resonates very, very clearly with me, and unmarried with no children, late 40s lady. And so, yeah, I can absolutely relate. And I think I commend you for using your platform, using your position, using your experience to advocate for all women. And I feel very, very included in this discussion and this topic. So that's a personal thank you for me, but also from all the gals who choose to have an alternative, an alternative family, an alternative makeup, a different career, different choices. And it's all, in essence, in the name of diversity. And I think it takes a lot of courage to say, oh, I shouldn't have asked that, or ooh, maybe that was a little bit insensitive. Thank you for that. I do feel the exclusion sometimes personally to share that, there are topics that women discuss, and there are skills, and there are ways to problem solve that come from having to run a house and a family and a job and all the things. that sometimes like, ooh, I don't have that experience of raising children, or maybe I can't relate specifically to a topic. But at the end of the day, the empathy and the listening and the seeking for the deep understanding of humanity to some extent is what does bring us all together to solve the big thorny problems that are ahead of us.
I couldn't agree more. I'm lucky. I have a child, and to become a mother, although I thought it was a disaster for my career at the beginning, it turned out to be the opposite, because I think I became a much better leader after becoming a mother, because it added a certain mildness to my leadership style that I lacked before. But I think it's also my responsibility to help colleagues, or to help female fellows who don't have the possibility to add that maybe in their life too, if they're missing it, because we can still talk about our experiences, and we can still reflect on that. And it doesn't mean just because you don't have a certain experience, you cannot learn from others who had the experience. So and I think it's our responsibility as women in this especially in this industry, to support each other. And this is what I would be really happy to see if this increases.
Well, I am proud and honored to have been part of this discussion and showcase to our audience what that support looks and feels like amongst women who've just barely met each other. So thank you for that. And a great segue to our final question, which is, in one word, describe the opportunity for women in the automotive industry.
One word? Limitless.
It's tough.
It's limitless.
Limitless. Absolutely.
I made the experience, the only limits I had were those I did set myself.
That's beautiful. Sky is the limit.
Sky is the limit, absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, we let you off to go start your day in beautiful Toronto. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, it was a pleasure. And we'll see you at some of the networking events, I hope.
I hope so too. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Till next time. Ciao.
Okay, bye-bye.